Taehyung finally breaks the silence about his relationship with Jungkook. Space doesn't mean broken. Taehyung reveals the truth about Jungkook. The love they protected in silence. Taehyung and Jungkook said, "I protected him. He protected me." Taekook's untold love story. Not a rumor, not a fantasy. Watch the continuation of this video and don't miss it. This is still our shared opinion and analysis, so feel free to leave your positive comments here. And this week I'll make a special video dedicated to the best comment on this channel. Keep watching our best videos. The best comment will be pinned as a way to honor their love. Thank you to everyone who continues to support this channel. May God reward all of your kindness. Purple heart folded hands. This video reflects my personal opinion and interpretation. It is made for entertainment purposes only and does not represent confirmed facts. Hey everyone! Before we start, make sure you're ready to love this moments. Welcome to V Effect. It wasn't random and it definitely wasn't harmless. For months the tension has been building. Whispers, side glances, unanswered questions that fans couldn't ignore. Every interview, every live broadcast, every subtle reaction, something felt unfinished. Something felt held back. And then Taehyung decided it was enough. No more careful wording. No more cryptic smiles. No more letting rumors control the narrative. Tonight, he finally exposes the truth about Jungkook. And once you hear what he says, you'll understand why the silence had to end. Because this isn't just another clarification. This changes everything. The room didn't feel different at first. The lights were the same. The cameras were the same. The atmosphere carried that familiar tension that always lingers before something important is said. But Taehyung's expression was not the one people were used to reading. It wasn't playful. It wasn't teasing. It wasn't cryptic. It was steady. For so long, every mention of Jungkook had been followed by careful laughter, deflection, or a shift in topic. Fans dissected pauses. Analysts slowed down clips. Entire narratives were built on seconds of silence. And that silence became louder than any statement either of them had ever made. Taehyung knew it. He had watched the edits. He had seen the headlines. He had felt the weight of strangers deciding what his relationship with Jungkook meant. Rewriting moments, reshaping memories, turning fragments into controversy. And for once he didn't smile it away. "I think," he began, voice calm but heavy. "People think they know everything." The words weren't explosive. They didn't need to be. The way he held eye contact with the camera made it clear this wasn't casual conversation. This wasn't playful teasing. This was deliberate. He didn't deny closeness. He didn't distance himself. He didn't downplay the bond. Instead, he acknowledged it. "Yes, we're close," he said. "Closer than most people understand." That line alone was enough to ignite reactions. But he wasn't finished. What made the tension unbearable wasn't confirmation of closeness. It was the shift in tone that followed. His voice softened. Not weak but vulnerable. There were things we didn't talk about. Not because we were hiding, but because not everything belongs to the public. The silence in the room stretched. For years fans had created narratives. Some romantic, some rivalrous, some protective, some invasive. There were theories about distance, about cold shoulders, about jealousy, about hidden conflicts. Every shared stage glance was treated like coded language. Every missed interaction became evidence of something broken. Taehyung didn't attack the fans. He didn't scold them. But he did something far more powerful. He reframed everything. People saw moments, he continued. They didn't see the conversations after. They didn't see the arguments. They didn't see the apologies. They didn't see the growth. That word landed like a spark in dry air. It wasn't the fairy tale image many wanted. It wasn't a perfectly smooth, unshakable harmony. It was real. And real is messy. He admitted they fought. Not dramatically. Not destructively. But like two strong personalities growing in the same space under the same pressure, carrying different expectations. "There were times we misunderstood each other," he said. "There were times we needed space." And there it was. The confirmation that distance had existed. That those subtle changes fans thought they imagined weren't entirely fiction. But then came the shift that changed everything. Space doesn't mean broken. The words were simple, but they dismantled months of speculation in one breath. He explained that growth isn't loud. Rebuilding trust isn't public. Repair doesn't trend. It happens quietly, off camera, in long conversations no one records. He didn't expose Jungkook in a destructive way. He didn't reveal secrets to shock. What he exposed was the truth of complexity, that their bond wasn't a fantasy, but it wasn't fragile either. And then the line that froze the room. I protected him and he protected me. Not from scandal, not from rumor, from pressure, from being forced into versions of themselves they didn't recognize. There had been moments when expectations felt suffocating, when every move was interpreted, when closeness was romanticized, when distance was weaponized. He admitted it hurt. It hurt more than people think. That was the first time his composure cracked. Not dramatically but subtly. His jaw tightened. His eyes shifted away for half a second too long. He wasn't defending a rumor. He was defending a person. The truth wasn't about confirming fantasies or denying them. It was about reclaiming control over a narrative that had grown out of proportion. We're not a story, he said firmly. We're real. And that was the exposure. The truth wasn't scandalous. It was human. There had been tension. There had been distance. There had been moments when even they didn't know how to navigate the noise around them. But there was never betrayal. Never secret animosity. Never hidden agenda. Just two people growing up under a spotlight that magnified everything. But just when it seemed like closure had been reached, Taehyung added one more sentence. Quiet. Almost too quiet to catch. And there's something I've never said before. The room held its breath. He didn't elaborate. He didn't clarify. He let the words hang there, unfinished. A deliberate pause. Promise. Or maybe a warning. Then he smiled. Not the playful grin people expected, but something softer. Something resolved. The silence was over. But whatever he hasn't said yet, that might be the part that changes everything next. The room didn't recover from that sentence. And there's something I've never said before. It wasn't dramatic in delivery. It was worse than that. It was controlled. Tong didn't rush to fill the silence. He let it expand. Let it press against every expectation that had been building for years. The camera didn't move. No background noise interrupted. Just the weight of what might come next. He leaned back slightly, eyes lowering for a moment as if organizing memories that had never been spoken out loud. When everything started changing, he said slowly, we didn't know how to handle it. Not fame. Not schedules. Not success. The attention. He described how every interaction between him and Jungkook began to feel watched differently. Not like two members standing next to each other. Not like teammates. Something heavier. Something dissected. At first it was funny, he admitted. We laughed about it. At its comments, theories. Speculation that blurred lines between admiration and intrusion. But laughter doesn't last when pressure builds. There was a point, he continued, voice steady but lower, when we started thinking before standing next to each other. That confession hit harder than any explosive claim. They weren't avoiding each other. They were calculating. He didn't blame anyone directly, but the implication was clear. When closeness becomes a headline, it stops feeling natural. When every shared glance turns into evidence, authenticity becomes risky. I hated that, he said quietly. He wasn't angry. He was disappointed. There were days when he would catch himself pulling back. Not because he wanted distance from Jungkook, but because he didn't want to fuel narratives. And he knew Jungkook felt the same tension. That's when misunderstandings happened, Taehyung revealed. Not dramatic fights. Not broken trust. Just misreading silence. He explained how one small moment could grow larger under a spotlight, how hesitation could look like rejection, how space could look like coldness, how protection could look like avoidance.